For my birthday, I'm trying a new vlog therapy formula. Just an 8-second vlog a day should amount to a weekly themed behind the scenes,
birthday, Mom.
1 minute short. This week's theme is rebirth. The show must go on. Beauty creativity. On my agenda today is... Are you on track, honey? Yeah. Oh God, I'm all tangled up. Are you decent? Can I peek in? I have got to get a background under control. I'm sick of looking at the insanity. You know, I can unconventional and messy or whatever, like when I'm doing a project and I have to throw things around because it's part of the creativity and is one thing. But just the insanity. It is just, I am a failure in so many things that I try. That makes the things that I actually succeed at or manage to pull off not so sweet. Good morning! So I guess it's a game of percentages, and I got to tip the scale, or averages, a game of averages. Is that what we're playing here? I need to stand up straight. I need to be a go show. I need to be present and prepared. It's like the more present I get, the more I realize, you know, the deficits. And it's like every good thing I try to say, anytime I try to connect with people, it seems like, you know, it comes off wrong. Like it, I don't know. Everything that I try to put out to redirect course, it's just met with such resistance. I see good things. I know that we can do them. I don't understand why it seems so complicated to people to just be nice and just be productive. For me to get real and utilize the therapeutic properties of the creativity, you know, this is a tricky level because, you know, a lot of the artists over the ages, you know, they just seem eccentric or whatever. And it's like some people, like I was saying yesterday, it's either, you know, oh, they're a little off, or oh my gosh, they're so wonderful, you know. And it's like, what tips that scale, you know? Well, here in these times, we're forced with all this, you know, fast communication technology, and whether you, like I was saying, brand or be branded, it's not because I'm going to brand you, I'm going to pigeonhole you, I'm going to, you know, be bigoted or judgmental. But back in school, it was like, oh, it's going to go on your permanent record, you know, like, oh, what's that? Now we're making our own permanent records, and it would seem that we should take a little bit of initiative. I'm watching the sunrise. I don't know if you can see. And those are the things. Those are the things that, you know, should be able to bring us back, bring people back from a bad trip, or, you know, when you're having that moment, the community around you, your family, your people, your inner spirit, your, you know, whatever, your inner child, your cosmic connections. Those are the things that are supposed to have compassion. To make chaos the default mode is just one of the obstacles of humanity. We artists, when we put ourselves out there now in modern times in a different way, imagine if, you know, I just wrote a couple of eloquent lines on some weird old paper, and, you know, it was like drifted off in a bottle or some scribe or something, and this was like now the gospel rule that found by some whatever person that was literate, you know. And it's like that on steroids to the infinite, you know. And so all of this is just really, there's just so much, and the technology that we have can't process it fast enough. It means getting real. It's very difficult when the life worth sharing is here and you can see it, and yet where you're at, it's just this, there's these forces Oh my gosh, nothing like a little freeze in the morning to get your energy going. Oh my gosh. Whew. I guess it's exhilarating. I was tempted to take a little walk around the castle. It was so cold, and I have to get to work. I gotta fluff my milk, and I will take you with me. Where I'm at is, if I were just doing a story, like a research project, a book report, a fairy tale, beginning, middle, and end, it would be more logical as far as how the order of scenes. In this case, I am trusting in the process means that you never know what you're going to get. And so that's why I'm perfectly geared for more nomadic or adventure travel or that kind of thing, because, it's when a different change of scenery is normal all the time, it's a different beast. So right now, oh my gosh, kitty, yes, putting a little bit of milk. Okay, kitty, I hear you. You have your food over there. I don't know what the trouble is. So whittling through it's not like here's a script, here's the plot points, here's the scenes, here's the transitions, here's the filler and the, whatever. It is really just trusting in it's like the internal dialogue externalized to reflect on. Oh, I'm pumping my milk here. Pump. This is really not very useful, except for as a part of the process. So I need to figure out, it's really manageable to just do like an 8-second short a day, but I truly believe that is too short. It is not a good representation of what is really going on and all these inner workings of the creative journey. A minute a day is, I think you could get quite a bit in. And again, if you string the minutes together, to make a week show, that really could make sense. I could benefit personally, and I think that there are others who could too, about actually just being able to see like the fuller, like unedited cut, the rough cut, which I'm okay with. For the moment, I am really stuck. Because editing on the iPhone, I can't really be recording on it, and that's what this creative coping is about. My objective is to let's learn how to get in the chronic zone of just being the tragic artist that's always, stressed out about something. That is not where I'm going with this. My immediate mission right now is to stop recording a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Unless I really feel compelled and it's a short, concise thing. Making video notes to myself, unless I have the search tool to be able to just pull. This is what, if someone please out there, if you can develop an app, I don't know if it exists, let me know in the comments. What I need is an app. You select your video, and then you put in the search terms of the keywords that were spoken, and then the app can scrub through all of the audio and find the words and just open to that, part of the timeline. Otherwise, I'm old school. I really like the pen in my hand feeling, and I love the type. It's a different thing. The old-fashioned typewriters. The rhythm is so freaking cool. I highly recommend that. There could be a whole creative, session on getting into the rhythm of the old-fashioned typewriter and how it changes your thinking, because you can't just oops, delete, read, and switch this word here and there. So every single medium has a different feature. It has its limitations and its features. It is so cool to be able to incorporate all of these things. I don't know how people can have the time to just be angry. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's really the monster that has ruled the rise and fall of civilizations into the dust, and I hope that that's not what comes of this. And again, I just want to say one more time, look, I'm like Rapunzel up here in my tower, longing for the whatever. We can do it. This is a sincere question out to the existing as well as the intended audience. Would you find benefit in just the long, virtually uncut or rough cut explorations, just the talking about talking, or would it be more interesting to see one of the current formats that I'm noticing with a lot of the vlogs is kind of a throwback to that like half an hour episode, television world. That could be palatable. At this stage, a half an hour to me is I have endless footage. Even with my lack of storage, I record and I record, I inevitably have too much footage. So to whittle them down is a feat on one hand. And then on the other hand, if it's not being presented to the appropriate viewer or audience, then it just seems like a lot about nothing. And so there's the cut in of the just the 5 to 10 minute little things. And again, if it's not dense and fast paced, that's gonna lose people. I want to accommodate. However, I don't want to be striving for some intangible preconception of what it is that people might be interested in. So at this point, genuinely, I am not just egocentric because that's all I care about. I am working with what I have to try to get to the point where there is engagement, and I can work with other people and work to reach people in a manner that is conducive. It's like children. One child, if you tell them this way, they respond in one way. Another child, if you tell them that way, they respond another way. Not to say that my audience is like children. That's not that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about I have the most experience in dealing with little people. It's funny. Sometimes when I look into the lens, I have it on selfie mode because it's hard to get over not knowing where the frame is. I've been trying to turn it around and just see if I can get myself into the frame blindly without the little mirror or anything that I was looking at the other day. But in my peripheral vision, if I'm looking at the lens, I can kind of see myself, okay? And I'm not tempted to look over and look at myself. That's not my issue. But what's fascinating is I have such an active imagination that it almost brings like overwhelming emotion to me. Okay, let me backtrack. I once had a neighbor who was an older man and just a really cool old hippie guy with a kind of a bourgeois background and, super a little bit eccentric and very cool. And he would tell me all of his stories about back in the AOL dial-up. I couldn't believe it. And the first time that I showed him, I believe it was Siri or some personal assistant, I can't remember what it was back in the day on the phone, he literally cried with joy. He was like, I can't believe it. It's come true. And I was like, ask it something. And it would respond. And he was like, he was literally crying. And that's that overwhelmed, like innocent child, joy that sometimes I feel when it's like, right now I'm talking to myself, supposedly. But I know that there are people out there, and I can almost see it. I can see it's like, if I get real creative about it, very visual, it's like I can look in and I can flip through like all of the different people that are watching. People I know, it's easier because you can imagine where they're sitting or where they're, how they are, or what they're doing or what they would be doing. But it's strange. It's like this really cosmic connection to be able to visualize, it's almost like I can swipe through, or on the StreamYard panel kind of thing, or on a digital Zoom panel. I'm not sure the different platforms where you can see like all the boxes, or like I remember the old Brady Bunch, with the like little heads moving around in the squares, really silly. And I almost see that, like, and it's funny because the people, and it really almost brings tears to my eyes, because the people that I know I'm talking to, I can't yet it's like a silhouette. I can't yet put a face to that being. And this is one thing that has really touched me a lot, is as a crazy artist, just painting really ugly, hideous, like almost rebelliously unaesthetic things. Sometimes I'll go, okay, well, that's even just a little too ugly for me to want to present. And inevitably, this has happened many times, it would be the one piece that someone would come up and be like, oh, that's my, cousin, whoever, and they were going through this really tough time, and this will just really, touch them, and as if it was, I get chills, like as if it was intended for that person. And I just had to trust that. I thought it was uglier than hell. 99.9 people would think it's uglier than hell, but for some reason, the sentiment, it was like meant to be. And that's what I feel like. I see all the little silhouettes of the people that I don't know, I can't put a face to, or that are like in the future that are, going to be seeing some of these things. Maybe they'll never see this one, but it's just we don't know where life is taking us. Nobody knows, and the people that pretend to know, how can you really trust? And that's what I just try to say with the kids. The kids are, well, like they feel like they kind of get to an age where this is normal. You have an expectation when your parents are like the final word, and then they realize, well, wait a minute, we're just all humans. It's starting to dawn on them, and that's such an important stage. It's just starting to dawn on them. Well, nobody really knows all the answers. What do you mean you're telling me all this stuff? How do you know? And so I've had really good fortune with the kids, the older kids and everything, going through that, and just kind of embracing the fact that I never felt compelled to brainwash them, other than, to really instill my agenda on them, other than to truly just be good, be loving and kind and good, and all that, and respectful of other people, and whatever, try to be more good than bad, or whatever, not even leave no trace, but anyway, leave things better than you found them, kind of thing. And of course, I obviously, fall short and have my issues. However, I only cared to brainwash my children to think about things, to think for themselves, and to consider others' thoughts the way that they would want their own thoughts considered and acknowledged and respected. And oh gosh, there's so many blobs, and that's the thing. There's the different art therapies and all of the arts and humanities and the therapeutic properties of these things. But this particular, I feel like I'm leaning into this particular vlog therapy because I am such a proponent of, and always have been, of self-exploration and talking things out constructively and pondering one's thoughts. And, traditionally it was with like writing and then expressing them in abstract ways with, different forms of artwork. As this age, trusting that it's not going to just all collapse, that people are going to actually wake up and try to be a little bit more environmentally compatible, to be able to exist a little bit longer on the planet. We're at a stage where, when I was a kid, I would make cardboard cutouts and pretend like there were phones, portable phones, okay? I had no idea that you could actually make it exist. Well, now kids these days are realizing that you can really make things into existence in a different way, than previous generations. It's not to say that all of the breakthroughs that led to this point weren't monumental, but there's just so many of them right now, and they're moving so quickly. This shift that is coming with the supercomputers, where everything is just going to be normal, like to everyone be live streaming and jumping onto each other's live chat and talking like that, like you're really there with people. Who knows what the different devices will, but just pretend with just what we have right now, just everybody's popping in like you pop over to for tea into someone's channel. I want us to move into this next wave of communication with a little bit of intentionality. The drama is just, I really have nothing to say about it other than that it's yucky, and it's just hurtful and just counterproductive. It's just counterproductive. And when I think of drama, I think of theater, I think of, the arts, and I think of, personifying different, characteristics of the existence and, all of these theatrical, wonderful things. I don't know how the word drama came to signify people just, not thinking very deeply on bad behavior. So, anyway, I'm going to have to leave it here for right now because I really do have a lot to do. And I will check back in, and I trust that there are other people out there that are, everyone's has to do their part. My part might not seem like a lot, but every last screw has a purpose to hold the whole thing together. So today's log therapy focus is turning out to be all about the storage management and dealing with the uploading process and clearing out storage as you go and consolidating clips as you go. If you put out a weekly video, if you're doing a vlog, then you have clips throughout the week and you put together into one video. I was kind of thinking, what was that? I heard a weird sound. Volume. So I've been freaking myself out lately. Apparently the house is like haunted because, it's been through, we're in by a castle, medieval, like serious. Medieval stuff is not glamorous and it's not pretty. And so there's that energy, and then there's the energy of the World War II. This was a huge place where there was like all these underground all the wine cellars and cheese cellars and salami and all that kind of stuff turned into like tunnels, and a lot of really bad stuff, people hiding out in the crawl spaces, and so there's a lot of, oh god, I get chills, so apparently there's like ghosts or something here, I don't know, but that's not what worries me. There's just like a dark energy that is getting more and more pervasive, or I'm just getting more and more intolerant of. Today is about storage, organization. Putting out weekly content entails various clips throughout a week, particularly with a vlog, consolidated into one narrative, a weekly chapter in an ongoing saga, is one way to look at it. With my challenge to myself of coming up with at least an 8-second summary a day, ideally with the shorts, in under a minute, just a quick little bullet points of the day, condensed from a longer form, and any of those three can be compiled, or maybe a combination of long and shorts can be compiled into a weekly content. And each day is a different rhythm, different activities, different factors. What I care to establish is a flow of the do-as-you-go things, like maybe compiling some clips that you can back up and upload them off of the camera so that you have more free space for editing, with a flow of how to take all that, and then at the end, the cohesion. And the snow never came. So the day is going on, and basically I am accomplishing trying to get some photos backed up and cleared off the phone, and so I can have room for editing. And that's where we're at. It's the reality, and it's good practice, because if I really want to be more mobile in the middle of nowhere, sometimes when you're super off grid, if you don't have like satellite or whatever, or if you just want, time in the wild, you have to, I don't want to get into a habit of the super convenience and everything just one way, and then, get stuck in that and not unable to adapt to more versatile or mobile content. Hello! Happy Friday! Another cool thing about this vlog therapy endeavor that I've embarked upon is being able to throw out ideas and kind of as a roadmap of, if you go off the map and into uncharted territory, and you have these ideas about the space around you, and you make little marks, and then once you stand back and you get a better sense, you can map it out a little bit clearer and see how this one twist here and that one rock there, led you to a deeper discovery. For example, I'm thinking that because I really actually enjoy just doing the blah 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 vlogging about vlogging, I believe that there might be a place for it for people that just genuinely, like me, I would love to see and engage with somebody that just likes to sit and talk about how to progress in their creative journey, just casual and just real down to earth. And so if I'm thinking if I would like it, but then, I'm an outlier. But this is the thing, is I'm not the only outlier. And so I believe that there are other people out there that might benefit from maybe I'll make a folder. Well, no, they don't call it a folder. They call it a playlist. A playlist of just these, and just call them like rough cuts. And that, or whatever, something, maybe we'll have to come up with a better name, but I like that. It's just like rough cut, it's not unedited, because I have to actually put it in the program, and I have to, mark it, and I don't want to be strict, like I can't, trim out the like blah, 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 if I feel like it. So that's the thing. It's not about putting more restrictions on myself. It's about, breaking barriers and expanding. Another cool thing that's come out of this is, I'm looking at it like this. I try to explain to the children the difference between including them in the decision-making process and actually promising something. When I say I want to do something, I like to try to differentiate between my intentions, my plans, my actual objectives, my serious commitment, all these different things. And so if anything is ever clear, like, oh, well, you said you were going to be doing this, it's like, I'm open for clarification. Yes, maybe at that moment I was thinking that might be a good idea, but if something else changed, there's another factor to consider. It's only wise to adjust. The fundamentals, the principles, is where we don't equivocate. But when it comes down to the actual, do we go right or left on the map, that's part of the adventure.
If you like this glimpse into my creative process, please subscribe to join the journey.